Welcome to the White Rabbit YouTube channel. My name is Alan, and this is my conspiracy theory map of the world. There are countless legends of giants in the Pacific Islands, the most well-known being the Solomon Island giants, but there's also Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, Tuvalu, Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, the Cook Islands, Hawaii, Easter Island, and even Australia and New Zealand. The reason for this is that all these places, minus Australia, New Zealand, and the Solomon Islands, were once part of a giant continent called Mu, or to some people, Lemuria, or even Mudalu. Today's episode features one of the surviving cities of the continent of Mu, known as Nan Madal, located in the Federated States of Micronesia. Not only does this place have giants, aliens, and megaliths, but also ghoulish moans and lights from long-sealed crypts of kings and giants, a glowing flying dragon, platinum coffins, a sprawling network of secret tunnels, 5 to 50 ton basalt columns levitated into place, as well as supernatural repercussions for looters and nighttime explorers. Although I'm looking forward to telling you about the continent of Mu in the very next episode to connect all the dots between the aliens, megaliths, giants, portals, anomalies, pyramid, and even a little bit about Zealandia, another nearby sunken landmass. As all stories start, I'll start at the beginning. The first recorded history of Nan Madal comes from the Pompeians, not to be confused with the Pompeians of Italy, although Nan Madal is considered to be the Venice of the East due to its extensive system of canals. Nan Madal was built many centuries ago on the Temwen Island coral reefs by two magician giant brothers called and The magician giant brothers conquered and enslaved the native Pompeians that had been fighting amongst themselves in clan warfare for as long as anyone could remember. Using magic and levitation in the presence of a glowing flying dragon, most likely a UFO, coordinating the building of the great capital city. It was as though there was an invisible conveyor belt in the sky ferrying 5 to 50 ton pieces of basalt stone through the air, making strange sounds and pitches as they whooshed by from the other side of the island, from Mount Finko to Temwen. At first, the artificial islet platforms were constructed, then an extensive network of tunnels and crypts covering the entire island, then canal waterways and an intricate irrigation system. Royal buildings, a walled-in lake, and seawalls, all built in a crisscross pattern similar to a log house, but with multi-ton pieces reaching up to 30 feet or 9 meters up in the air. There are whispers of a secret sunken city called Nan Madal, built by underwater giants, meant for the spirits, not for the flesh. You are advised not to go looking for it. And of Nan Madal being a weather control station to increase rainfall. To this day, Micronesia is one of the greenest and wettest places anywhere on Earth, with over 400 inches or 10 meters of rainfall per year. In some ways, it's similar to the Baltic Sea anomaly that I mentioned in my previous video. Ancient tech that still affects us in the world today. The city served as the high seat of government for the island of Pompeii, a fortress, a royal enclave, and a religious center. The city was built so that the nobility were isolated from the local inhabitants. The wizard-giant brothers ruled together until one died. Then the other took over as king. He also took a local woman as his wife, and their offspring would become the next in Nan Madal royal lineage. The next 12 generations were exceptionally tall and were known as the Saddler Kings. The Saddler Kings inherited some magic from their giant wizard father, and some of the magic persists to this day in the form of being able to make things lighter. More on this later. The Saddler Kings took over the islands around the year 1200. They were not good people or people giants. They ruled through fear. The Saddler Kings stayed in power through an act designed to inspire terror and forced the local Pompeians to regularly bring food and resources to Nan Madal as tribute. The Saddler Kings kept a giant moray eel. The local Pompeians were required to feed turtles to the eel, but turtles are the revered deity of the islanders. If the eel devoured the turtle, the kings saw this as a sign that the god was pleased. If the eel didn't eat the sacrifice, there would be consequences in the form of human sacrifice and cannibalism. The Pompeians lived this way for hundreds of years. Finally, a Pompeian priest preached religious warfare. The native thunder god went to the nearby Caroline Island group to create a child demigod called Isokelikel. After some years, the thunder god and the grown-up demigod returned to Nan Madal to wreak terrible vengeance upon the Saddler Kings around 1628. From then on, every clan was peaceful with each other. Nan Madal was gradually abandoned and fell into disrepair and ruin. Since the 16th century, the Pompeians have held a practice of cultural and historical secrecy, making it difficult for outsiders to gain knowledge. Nan Madal, then covered with vegetation and partially sinking into the waters where it remained for centuries until the arrival of Europeans, inspiring legends of Atlantis in the Pacific. Once the Europeans arrived, the Pompeians warned all against disrupting the land that once belonged to the past rulers. It wasn't until 1874 when Jan Cooper II, a Polish anthropologist, uncovered Nan Madal in the modern era that the supernatural land started to keep its secrets. Despite the warnings, Jan Cooper II loaded up a ship containing artifacts from Nan Madal bound for London. Needless to say, the booty never arrived. Jan Cooper II's ship sunk near the Marshall Islands, and nothing was ever recovered. In 1899, Micronesia was acquired by Germany. In 1907, Victor Berg was sent to be the governor of this small land. Governor Victor Berg was also warned against disrupting the land that once belonged to past rulers or face supernatural repercussions. This meant nothing to him. He entered the ruins to search for artifacts and treasure. He found a tomb with weaving corridors where he discovered the remains of giants 3 meters or almost 10 feet tall. Upon his return, the governor was visibly shaken and complained of the sounds of conch shells blowing in his ears. The German doctor, at a loss, turned to the locals, who said it was vengeance from the gods for disrupting the lands that once belonged to the past rulers. The governor died the next day from unknown causes. The tomb he spoke of was never found. Nan Madal holds a thick air of spirituality similar to Uluru in Australia. The supernatural powers of Nan Madal are stronger after dark. Pompeians warn against disturbing the spirits. Nighttime visitors are highly discouraged, but the brave or stupid ones speak of lights and ghoulish moans coming from the long-sealed crypts. Most experience a lot of bad luck afterwards, similar to people that have taken rocks or sand from the sacred Uluru area. During World War I, 1914 to 1918, Japan, which was then an allied country, conquered a lot of the German possessions in the Pacific. Then, from 1920, the island of Pohnpei was administered by the Japanese. The Japanese found dozens of platinum coffins in the shallow waters surrounding Nan Madal, which they broke into smaller pieces and sent to Japan. This act alone might have cursed them from there on out. During World War II, the Pohnpeians were instructed to haul up Japanese heavy cannons and mounts 1,000 feet or 300 meters up to the Soke's rock cliffs using the special magic that makes things lighter. Locals confirm that they still have the ability to this day. I should also mention that there's similar megalithic architecture on the nearby island of Lemuria, where the basalt columns lay in ruins and cover 1/3 of the island. It could also be assumed that there are other undiscovered tombs and ruins on Lemuria and nearby islands. But if you believe in supernatural curses, or even if you don't, surely it's better not to take anything from the sites and don't go after dark. This and every story I share is just what some people believe. I'm not saying it's all true. I'm just sharing a story and you can believe what you want. If you liked what you saw and learned, please like, share, and subscribe. Uncovering the truth, one conspiracy at a time. See you next week on the White Rabbit YouTube channel.